Let's bring you updates on the Russian-Ukraine war. Russia says it has repelled 3 attempted incursions along its border with Ukraine by what it casts as pro-Ukrainian fighters, while heavy shelling prompted a partial evacuation of civilians from the area. According to Moscow, at least 30 Ukrainian fighters were killed, a claim that was not possible to verify. As Russia's invasion of Ukraine enters its 463rd day, the following report takes a look at the latest developments.
A mother and her 11-year-old daughter were among 3 people reported killed and at least 10 injured in a Russian missile attack on Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, city officials say. Thursday's attack, which began at about 3 a.m. local time, inflicted the largest number of casualties from a single attack by Russia on Kyiv in weeks. Ukraine's military said air defenses shut down all 10 ballistic and Iskander cruise missiles launched from Russia's Bryansk region in the 18th attack on the capital since the start of May. But falling missile debris often causes damage during such attacks, and police said a medical clinic, kindergarten, residential buildings and cars were damaged. Authorities did not say how the 3 were killed. Meanwhile, NATO foreign ministers are meeting today. Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said that allies would discuss preparations for the Vilnius summit, not least, quote, how to step up and sustain our support for Ukraine, end quote.
So the first deployment of extra troops will be around 700, and they are on their way. But of course, this does not mean that we are giving up on a political solution.
Mr. Stoltenberg noted that all allies agree that Ukraine will become a member of the alliance and that, quote, it's not for Moscow to have a veto against NATO enlargement, end quote.
We support Ukraine. We will continue to support Ukraine. We'll stand by Ukraine for as long as it takes. And that does not make NATO and NATO allies party to the conflict. But NATO is also now looking into how we can help them to implement this important transition from old-type Soviet-era doctrines, ammunition standards, equipment to modern NATO equipment and standards. This transition has started, but when you look at the battlefield in Ukraine, you see that there is still a long way to go to ensure that everything they do is totally interoperable with NATO.
Also, European leaders staged a show of unity in the face of Russia's aggression against Ukraine and Moldova, holding a strategy summit on the continent's political front line. As another deadly Russian missile barrage hit Kyiv, 24 leaders from across Europe met in Moldova, just 20 kilometers from the border with war-torn Ukraine. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky arrived first, making the short journey while his capital counted the cost of another night of Russian strikes. President Maia Sandu welcomed the leaders to the second summit of the European political community, hoping to boost Moldova's bid to join the European Union.